We made it.
We made it.
Half Moon Bay. And it is a beautiful day, but you can see that wall of fog out there. Yeah.
But it was completely fogged in here at 4 or 5 a.m.
Yeah, I think we had, I want to say 300 feet of visibility on average, but there were times where visibility was less than 100 feet. And it was dark. It was a little creepy.
No moon.
Well, and if there was, you wouldn't be able to see it because it was thick. Jody did a long watch, and the fog basically, the fog was so much that she was soaked. It wasn't raining. You were just like,
yeah, it's just dripping from my foulies. A little bit of soaking through, but not like I wasn't completely through. My gloves were.
yeah. So anyway, it was I would say a relatively easy journey.
Yeah, it's just uncomfortable. Uncomfortable in that it was really cold and wet, and just the little bit of breeze was icy.
Yeah, I am okay with, you know, our choice to do it when we did it. You know, we knew that with the 12-hour time frame, there was going to be some nighttime, and you know, I didn't anticipate the fog. Looking at the weather apps, I didn't actually see any mention of fog, so that was a bit of a surprise. And now we know to look for that. That's for sure, because that was kind of a big deal.
Yeah, it was difficult getting in here.
Yeah, we just kind of motored in at like 2 knots, and you know, we couldn't even see the lights on the jetties until we were, I would say, maybe 150, 200 feet away.
You could barely make out the jetty regardless.
Yeah, it was.
And that sailboat that was on a mooring ball,
Oh yeah.
I could not see that until it was like right there where that
Like-
planter is.
Yeah, like 50 feet away or less.
Right. And then I just kind of saw a mound of, oh, is this like a little island or something?
Yeah.
Oh, it's a boat that's moored on a ball and hasn't set out a light.
Yeah. They
There
had
was
no
a
anchor
second
light.
one, though, that had a light, and we could see it from a long ways away.
Yeah.
It had its anchor light on.
Yeah, it was a little confusing for us going in there because basically the lights weren't quite making sense. You know, the one boat had an anchor light on, and it just didn't register in my mind as an anchor light. We were thinking it was like a day marker beacon or something.
Yeah, I thought it was on shore.
So anyway, yeah, that was a really good lesson in the critical value and necessity
Let's go to the right.
of a careful, you know, a careful watch as you're slowly going into an unfamiliar port. Because if we weren't paying attention, we could have easily ran into that moored boat. It might have been anchored. I'm not sure. Was it a mooring boat? Anyway, the boat that didn't have an anchor light.
Yeah, I think it might have been anchored.
Yeah, that could have been bad. But thankfully we were paying attention and going slow, and everything was fine.
Earlier, when we left Monterey, there was that fishing boat way out there that was on a collision course with us for a while.
Yeah, that was super weird. I think that was probably because he was just going down the coast. He was probably going to Monterey, maybe from here. And, you know, we both probably chose the optimal route, and that just caused us to get really close. And what's weird, though, is that the way the chart plotter and the radar made it look it made it look like we couldn't get away from him. I don't know what was going on, but the instruments don't always make me feel like we are getting the correct data somehow. We're still learning their sort of quirks and behaviors. One of the things we did that was super useful was we turned on the dangerous vehicle alert on the chart plotter, and so that would basically pop up a little notification every time it saw something that it thought wasn't safe, and it would show it on the chart plotter and you'd be able to inspect it. Sometimes it was an AIS and you could see what the vessel was broadcasting that. Sometimes it was an artifact on the radar, and sometimes it was a buoy. But that turned out to be a really useful feature of the chart plotter. I like that. I'm going to leave that on for sure. Although I did have to turn it off as we approached the harbor because it kept getting, it basically was spamming alerts as we were approaching. I don't think you saw that, but you know, as we were approaching, it's like, here's a buoy, it's an alarm, here's another buoy, it's an alarm, here's a jetty, it's an alarm. And you know, at some point you just have to turn all that stuff off and you know, be aware of the full situation without those alerts, which is fine. I'm really glad the sea state was calm and no wind last night, because with that fog, if it was bad conditions, on, you know, rough conditions, that would have been, I think, an abort. I don't think I would have gone into this if there were any meaningful wind or waves.
Yeah.
And that fog, that would have just been too much.
I was talking to a fisherman, one of the crabbers that was selling on the docks over there.
Yeah.
And I'm telling him how foggy it was early this morning, and he said they came in at 8 or 9 last night, no fog.
Yeah.
But we came in at 4 or 5 and it was thick fog. And he said, well, at least that you had the foghorn coming in. And I said, no, we heard no foghorn.
Yeah, I don't recall hearing a foghorn.
Which is totally wrong in my
We'll have to start paying attention for that, I guess.
But yeah.
We saw that lighthouse.
That's true. Yeah, that was good. So one of the reasons we stopped here instead of going to San Francisco is because Ziggy needed to do the thing he's doing right now, which I won't show you. And I'm actually glad we did. It's a nice break. We've always liked Half Moon Bay. And also this allows me to work today. This is lunch. And yeah, so we're gonna head to San Francisco tomorrow. Gonna catch the flood tide in the late afternoon, I think.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, I don't want to go out early morning, like at 3 in the morning to get the early
yeah,
flood.
yeah, there's an early flood at like 5 a.m. or something.
Especially with the fog.
Yeah, I don't want to be out there at 5 a.m. in the fog going through the Golden Gate. I want the view. And so if we go there in the late afternoon flood, we should, hopefully it'll be just a gorgeous time of day to be there. Very scenic. Fingers crossed. Hopefully Carl does us a solid and hides himself for the afternoon. And yeah, so we're gonna spend the rest of the day here. I'm gonna go back to work, and maybe we'll buy some crab. Apparently there's a place that will steam the crab if you buy them, because we do not want to buy crab and cook them on the boat, because that would sink that boat up, and we are not turning this into a fish boat. That is
Well, you
just,
don't have any crackers like this.
oh, the crab
We have
crackers.
pliers, right?
Yeah, we'll figure something out. I don't know, we'll figure it out. This is always a crab pickup destination though. There's a lot of crab around. Anyway, overall a good trip. Really happy we got here safely. That's the main thing. Learned a few things. That's always nice too, especially when the lesson doesn't require any crisis or too much anxiety. But yeah, it's a beautiful day, and we're gonna enjoy a little bit of time here.